Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're tuned into Full Toss on Radio Zindagi, WWRL 1600 AM in New York, WKXW 101.5 HD2 in New Jersey. We are also online, radiozindagi.com. Live from Houston, Texas, this is Amit, and live in the studio in Edison, New Jersey, my co-host, my mentor, my friend, Amanat in the studio, along with him, our local and international correspondent, president of Edison Cricket Club, Mr. Atul Huku. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Amit. It's a pleasure being here. It's a beautiful day in New Jersey here.
Good afternoon, viewers. It's always a pleasure being in the studio. Thank you.
And I want to wish our listeners a very, very happy Diwali. And on this auspicious day, we have someone with us, a journalist, someone who has spent over 3 decades in the field of journalism. I'm going to hand over the mic to Mr. Atul Huku to introduce our first and only guest, and I'm so happy and so pleasantly surprised that he's here. Atul, go ahead, man.
Well, viewers, we have a treat for you. And today we have with us, right from Delhi, India, V.Lokapally, who is a very popular in the cricketing circles in India and abroad, and has been writing on cricket and sports for over 3 decades for the Hindu and other publications. I first met him in the 1980s, in the mid-1980s in Sharjah, and I reconnected with him recently because he came out with a beautiful book, a book on India's Test captain Virat Kohli. The book's called Driven, the Virat Kohli Story. He's also written a book some time back which was very, very popular on Virendra Sehwag. So, welcome Vijay, and good to have you in the radio waves of United States of America.
Yeah, wish you all a very, very happy Diwali.
I would like to start off with asking a question to you. With my first question, why did you pick up Virat as a subject to write on, and what would the cricket fans, especially Virat fans, find fascinating in this book of yours?
Well, I was recently asked this question, why this book on Virat? So my answer was, why not? Because he is presently the most sought after cricketer, not just in India, abroad also. And I think he has achieved, even if you may say he's still halfway through his career, but he's achieved so much that his story deserved to be told, because generally the impression Virat gives on screen is not what you will find in the book. So when you ask me what the fans can look forward to, I would say it is the other Virat, the Virat which very few people know, because I have interacted with a whole lot of people who were connected with his grooming, with his cricket formative years. There's some little known stories about him and his journey. So that's what they can look forward to in the book. But if you ask me why Virat, I think I would still say why not Virat, because after Tendulkar, he's one man. Obviously, people will say MS Dhoni, but Virat is someone who has caught the attention of every section of the society. So, I mean, he definitely deserved a book.
No, I totally agree with you, and I'm sure the cricket fans will enjoy, because let's face it, all cricket fans and celebrities have split personality. So can you give us a little insight on the other aspect of his personality which you think will get people running to the stores and picking up the book?
Yeah, you will get to see his compassion towards his teammates. You will get to see the respect he has for seniors. You will see in what esteem he holds former greats. You know, he's always interacting with them, and he's so down to earth. For somebody who has the whole nation running after him, he is very, very grounded, very disciplined. There might have been a few incidents which might show him in a very different light, but probably you can dismiss them as, part of the growing up culture in the sporting field. But today he is immensely disciplined, and he realizes his role as captain of the Indian team. The fact that he is an icon where youngsters are looking up to him. So his public behavior has changed so much from the time he broke onto the scene when he was seen as a brash young man. But he's now mellowed. He's very mature, very receptive, and I think Indian cricket will go far under his leadership.
Well, that was a brilliant trailer. I'm sure our viewers are going to now run and get the book. The next question is the book available in the United States, and how can we get the book out here?
So it's available on Amazon. Definitely, it will take a while for the publishers to find bookstores who would be interested in, because in America, for them to display a book on a cricketer, I don't know how much it would appeal to non-Indians. But yes, it is available on Amazon. You can always order, and it would be delivered in whatever time it takes in US to be delivered.
Well, listeners, now you know the book is available on Amazon, and after this show is over, I'm just going to go and pick up the book. So I expect everybody who's listening to the show, bang on, go on to Google, go on to Amazon, and pick up the book. It's going to be a fascinating ride, a good read, and you're going to enjoy it.
Vijay, this is Amit, and it's ironic that you said that discipline and grounded. And the word in the community, in the journalist community, when people talk about V.Lokapally, that is, he's grounded and he's very disciplined. And to this date, I know this for the fact that you are one of those first journalists to arrive before the match. So many years you have been doing this thing, Vijay. And what I liked about your writing is, and I have read in an article, one of the articles, that you like to celebrate, and your writing shows that. And I congratulate you, Vijay, that you have been doing such an outstanding job. And it is so good to see a journalist, a writer who's actually writing stories. I mean, there is a criticism, but the criticism is done in such a way that it is just too good to read. And I am so glad that we have had this opportunity to speak to you on air today, and opportunity for our listeners to talk to you. And I want to hand over the mic to Amarnath now. Amarnath also has a few things that he wants to add.
Hi, Vijay. It is very revealing to hear from you that there is another compassionate side to Virat Kohli, because the media image was, as you said, brash or immature. And as you say, he has mellowed. I would say probably he has matured with the responsibilities given to him. So it's really interesting. I'll be one of the first to go and pick up the book and review it on Amazon the moment it is available. And really, kudos to you to bringing out that side of Virat Kohli. As you say, he's an icon to Indian cricket, and to whom much is given, much is expected. So it's a game of cricket that we all love, and it is fitting that somebody of his stature, who has respect for the game and its seniors, is taking the leadership role. So once again, thank you for writing the book. And as I had mentioned to you, I had heard a lot about you and your family from Srinivas Bhogle, Dr. Srinivas Bhogle. So once again, thank you very much.
Now, Vijay, I would like to ask you, how did you get started in sports journalism? What drove you to be a sports journalist?
I think it's a long journey, because I wanted to play cricket. I used to play club cricket. I couldn't make it. So then I thought how to stay connected with the sport which I love so much. And then when Bishan Singh Bedi retired, I going through the papers, I realized justice was not done to his career. So what I did was I wrote a long letter to all the newspapers. It got published in 2 newspapers, Indian Express and the Patriot. And reading the articles, Bishan Bedi reached. He contacted me. He gave me a nice appreciation letter, which I preserved. It is still with me. And that was the beginning, because he encouraged me. He said, "Why don't you write regularly?" So there was this newspaper, Patriot, the sports editor, P.V.R. Menon. He gave me the break, and that is how it began.
Well, that's fascinating. Now, tell me something. today the traditional journalism is changing with technology coming into play. So what do you think is the future of journalism as we go ahead, keeping in mind the technology aspect of it?
Yeah, future of journalism is bright because journalism can never die. See, even if you watch the game today, Atul, I'm sure tomorrow you want to read what the experts or people who are connected with
True.
the game have written, have they analyzed properly. So that will make you read the newspapers online or in hard print. But journalists will have a place. It can be today you might say it is journalism in television is changing. There is so much of social media, but responsible writing will come only from people who are associated with the sport, who understand the sport, who indulge in healthy criticism. It is very easy to run down a cricketer without realizing the difference between a catch and a half chance. So if you criticize a half chance, obviously you don't understand the sport. So and then it gives the wrong message. So you have to understand the sport. Only then you can do justice to your analysis, and that will come only through seasoned sports journalists.
Vijay, this is Amit, and I believe you're coming back from Mohali. You were covering the Ranji match there. I want to ask you about the Ranji Trophy scenario that is happening for this year. And I was so glad yesterday because I myself follow Ranji Trophy very keenly. And yesterday's match, India-New Zealand debutant Jayant Yadav, he made a debut yesterday, and it's so good to see him. I have been watching him play. I have been watching all his matches. I have been watching his career for over the span of years. What are your thoughts? Tell us a little bit more about some of the more players that you have watched this year, and some of the talent that you feel that is now ready to explode onto the international arena.
Actually, they are ready to explode, but there is no place because the Indian Test team is settled. One-day team is sort of looking up now. There are some exciting batsmen. I can tell you one definitely, Deepak Hooda.
Oh yes,
he is an outstanding. And Sheldon Jackson from Saurashtra.
I was going to ask you about Sheldon Jackson because I've been following Sheldon Jackson's career from the very beginning, and he's a very, very flamboyant batsman.
Yes, and he plays with a straight bat. So not many play with a straight bat these days. So does Deepak Hooda. And the only concern is the bowling department. We are not getting good international quality bowlers. Whether you talk of fast bowlers or spinners. But Ranji Trophy has undergone a revolution this season in the sense there are no home matches. All teams have to play away from home, which obviously it means they have to travel a lot, but that is okay as long as they learn to excel in alien conditions. Because like in football, if you win at home, maybe if you get 2 points, for an away win, there are more points. So
yes,
because you learn more, you go and beat the home team in their favorable conditions. So this is a good step the cricket board has taken. In taking Ranji Trophy matches to only neutral venues, and it's halfway stage now. 4 rounds are over, and I can tell you most of the players are happy, even if it means they have to be away from home for long periods. But in terms of pitches, they're getting good quality surfaces to play cricket on, and I think it will take Indian cricket forward.
Well, friends, you're tuned into Full Toss on Radio Zindagi, 1600 AM in New York and 101.5 HD2 in New Jersey. And ladies and gentlemen, we have with us a very senior journalist from India right now. He's live from New Delhi, Mr. V.Lokapally. He writes for The Hindu and other publications. Mr. Lokapally is releasing a book on Virat Kohli now. And let me hand over the mic to Amanat.
Vijay, I just checked on Amazon. The electronic version is available on Kindle. So all those who those who can't get the book in any bookstore can download it from the electronic version. And I intend doing it precisely right after the show. And I want to be one of the first to review it on Amazon.
Great. I'll be very happy.
And the second point I wanted to ask you was, you mentioned that all Ranji matches are going to be played on neutral grounds to make the teams toughened up in alien conditions. But the counter to that I felt was the home team doesn't get to see their own home players play. I remember when Tamil Nadu used to play Mumbai or Bombay in those days in Madras, there used to be huge crowds to watch Ranji match. So I'm only hoping that somehow we have to get the crowds back into Ranji stadiums.
Sir, you're talking about some times when even I have seen packed houses for Ranji Trophy match, but the home factor doesn't work anymore, because even for home games, you don't even get 10 to 15 spectators. So that factor was highest. So domestic cricket is watched by nobody. In fact, at this Delhi Orissa match, which I covered in Mohali, I was the only spectator at the stadium other than the team, the two umpires, the reserve umpire, the match referee, and some support staff to keep the game going. There was no second spectator at the Mohali cricket stadium. So you can imagine the state of domestic cricket in terms of spectator response. So this, even if the home spectators, they are not missing because they had not been going to the ground. So I think you'll understand if you come and watch a match at Chepauk now, probably you will be the only spectator.
Somebody said there are more security guards than spectators.
Absolutely. That is true.
Well, listeners, you've been listening to V.Lokapally straight directly from New Delhi. And one last quick question, Vijay. You did talk about journalism vis-a-vis technology. So can we see you on podcasts or videos and or social media?
I do. I mean, of course, in India, in Delhi, that is, I do go and go on television shows as one of the experts or on the panel. Then I do regularly radio shows with All India Radio, and BBC Radio is kind enough. They frequently they call me for expert opinion on cricket. So this is if you had been here, you would see I'm a bit more visible.
I'm basically trying to see how we can get you visible in the United States. So if you have a website where you put blogs or you have podcasts and things like that, please do let us know so that we can have more of you.
In fact, you will be surprised. It's just sheer coincidence that when I was coming back to Dunmukh Chand, if you remember, the under-19 captain of India who won the World Cup.
Yes.
He suggested to me that why do I not have my own website? He says it doesn't even cost much. So, and now this, maybe an hour or two later, you are now asking me if I can have a blog or if I can have a website. Maybe, Atul, maybe in the next fortnight I'll have one and I'll alert you.
Well, you can start off with having a Facebook page, and then if you do have one, I'm not sure, but then you can start putting stuff out there too, with the cell phone.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll try and do that. I'm a bit technologically challenged person but I'll try and learn and do all these things.
Youngsters are there for that.
Well, Vijay, I really do appreciate you calling, taking time out and talking to us and our listeners here in United States of America. I wish you the best. I really wish you the best, and I can only request to you that in future also, whenever you get time, if we can call you, we can pick your brains on some things. I would be more than happy.
It was a huge privilege talking to you all.
Great. Have a wonderful evening. Happy Diwali to you and your family, Mr. Lokapally, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you,
Vijay. All the very best.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on the phone live from New Delhi, you just heard the famous sports journalist, Mr. V.Lokapally, who writes for The Hindu, and he writes for many other publications. Now Mr. Lokapally is also publishing his book on Virat Kohli. That is going to be releasing. You can find his book on Amazon. It's on Kindle for your electronic book review. Gentlemen, there's a lot more to talk about right now. India, New Zealand. India wrapped up the series, taking the series. But now I want to first talk about England and Bangladesh. Bangladesh have registered a historic win over England. The Hassan duo, the spin twins there, completely spun the match away from England. Your take, gentlemen.
It's a very historic win. I could have never imagined 16 years ago when Bangladesh entered Test cricket.
Amarnath, here's what I want to highlight the most here. All the 10 wickets fell in the last session.
Yes, after tea. They were 100
after tea.
They were 100. England was 100 for no loss. And after 100 for no loss, they just collapsed to 164 all out. And I've done the fundamental analysis. Whenever
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay. It's a very interesting situation if you look at the scores.
Now, Amarnath, before you start your fundamental analysis, those of our listeners who are just tuning in right now, who may not be aware of exactly what you do in a fundamental analysis, just quickly give a synopsis of that.
Okay, the fundamental analysis for test matches goes as follows. We do an analysis or a comparison about the matchups between the top 3 batsmen of Team A versus the top 3 batsmen of Team B. And similarly, the 4 middle order batsmen versus the 4 middle order batsmen. And the lower order last 4 versus the lower order last 4. So it's a 3-way analysis, and based on that, we we try to find out where is the strength and weakness of each team. And if you look at
given that scenario, what is your take on England and Bangladesh?
Bangladesh really scored in the top order. It was Tamim Iqbal and Imrul Kayes who made the difference in the opening order. They outscored Cook and Duckett. And on an average, the top 3 scored 48 runs, whereas in the case of England, the top order scored only 32 runs. So it is 16 runs per wicket per innings. That was a very big difference if you look at the top order.
Yes.
Middle order, both the teams didn't do well in the middle order. In fact, England was quite pathetic in the middle order. They scored less than 10 runs per wicket, whereas Bangladesh had scored about 17 runs. England had rearguard action in the sense that their lower order did better. But overall, if I have to give scores for this match, if England was at 100, Bangladesh was at about 154, because in a low scoring game, Bangladesh won by 108 runs. That is very huge. That's not an ordinary event to win by 100 runs in a low scoring match.
Now, here's a quick look at the scorecard. First innings, Bangladesh were bowled out for 220 runs, and England were bowled out for 244 runs. In the second innings, Bangladesh were managed to get 296 runs, which I thought pretty substantial amount of score on that particular ground, and given the kind of bowling attack that they had. So 296 was a pretty healthy score. England were put to bed second innings, and as I mentioned earlier, till after tea, the entire team was bowled out for 164 for almost 100 runs. With Cook and Duckett, they were at the crease, and the wickets just started tumbling after that.
I would say the real classic thing which is forgotten was Tamim Iqbal scored a brilliant century on the first day.
He did.
People don't realize how good and mature a cricketer Tamim Iqbal has become. He is a force to be reckoned with. And this new kid for Bangladesh, Mehdi Hassan, he may not be a singer, but his spin does. Definitely sing.
Well, friends, you're tuned into Full Toss on Radio Zindagi, 1600 AM in New York City, 101.5 HD2 in New Jersey. RadioZindagi.com is where you can listen to us live on internet. Phone number in the studio is 848-444-1600, 848-444-1600. This is your host, Amit, live from Houston, Texas, and live from our studios in Edison, New Jersey, Amarnath and Atul.
So,
and before we wrap up the show, I have to I mentioned to V.Lokapally also about Jayant Yadav, who made his debut yesterday in yesterday's India New Zealand match. I've been following his career. I think that was an overdue. He was waiting in the wings for quite some time. Got the opportunity. He made most of the opportunity. But the one person I want to talk about, and it was so good to see a spinner getting a fifer, and that to a leggy.
A leg spinner. we can't have enough of them.
So now the competition has heated up so much because England is the England series is starting from the 9th. Ashwin and Jadeja were rest. Oh, I shouldn't say Jadeja. It's Jadeja now.
Jadeja.
I recently heard Jadeja, correcting people, said it's not Jadeja, it's Jadeja.
True.
So Ravindra Jadeja and Ashwin have been rested for this series. Mishra has been performing so well. I just want to see how things are going to shape up when England is coming.
You can bet England is going to bring their A game. They hate losing to India. It's a matter of pride for them. They may say losing to Bangladesh is a good thing. It encourages Bangladesh, but they don't want to encourage India. By the way, Michael Vaughan had written in BBC that if England does not shape up quickly, they could very well lose 5-0 to India. I don't think it will be 5-0 to India, but it's going to be a very interesting series.
Now the first test match is going to be played at the Rajkot, in Rajkot. That's their first test match as well there. So this is, and Atul, going back to our discussion a few weeks ago, BCCI has implemented measures of, playing at the second or the third tier cities, and it's been the dividends are already paying off, Atul.
Yes, it definitely is, because these are cities where they never used to get cricket, especially international cricket, and now international cricket has gone to the smaller tiers or smaller towns, and that will really promote cricket and as well as get the crowds in, which is very good by BCCI.
Now, gentlemen, both of you are heavily involved in the domestic cricket in New Jersey. Amanath, you are on executive board of NJS BCL. Atul, you're the president of Edison Cricket Club now. It's my understanding the season is over this year.
The regular season is over, but a shortened tournament, what is called an 8x8, is going on.
And that's what I was going to ask both of you as to upcoming days, upcoming weeks.
Yes,
what are the plans? What is happening?
Currently, the quarterfinals and pre-quarterfinals are going on this week. So next week, I think so, we'll have news about who won, etc.
And can you tell us some of the teams that are playing?
One of the teams which comes to my mind is a very nice name, Invincibles.
Invincible, I've heard about them. We've talked about them in the past.
By the way, with 120 teams, the names are all very exciting. You have teams like Highlanders, Invincibles, and a bunch of Tigers.
Bunch of Tigers.
A bunch of Tigers.
That's nice.
And a very interesting thing about this 8x8 tournament is it gets over very quickly. Just to give you an idea, initially they wanted to have a tournament only for about, say, 20 to 30 teams. But the response was so overwhelming. About 50 teams applied and they're all fighting to be in the tournament. So which is a very encouraging sign for cricket in New Jersey.
Atul, what's happening on your front?
My team generally plays the normal season, which is now over. And even in the hardball scenario, most of the 2020 games are also over and finished about a week back, I think. So, the season is coming to an end. People will get back, take a little break, and get into the indoor practice sessions and get ready for next year, which starts in the end of April, the new season.
All right, gentlemen, and unfortunately, that's all the time we had left for today. I had a wonderful, wonderful chat with V.Lokapally, who called from New Delhi today, a leading journalist for the Hindu and other publications as well. Amanath and Atul and Devin, happy Diwali to you and happy Diwali to our listeners. And wonderful, wonderful conversations we had today. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday, 12:30 Eastern Time. Full toss on Radio Zindagi. Signing off from Houston, Texas. This is your host, Amit. And signing off from Edison, New Jersey, our studios, Devin, Amanath, and Atul.
Thank you very much.